So, then to Motala. I accidentally got into ultra running via a backyard ultra event in May, which was in Vintervik in Stockholm. I managed to do 100 miles or 160 kilometers or 24 laps over 24 hours. I surprised myself with that. And so before that, I was doing half marathons. I only started running about just over 3 years ago, and did my first half marathon in April last year. And after doing the backyard ultra this year, I realised that I could push my body much further than I thought I could, and so I started looking into longer distance runs. Didn't really want to get into racing this year. I wanted just to see what was out there, and I saw the FKT. Didn't know what it stood for at the beginning, but when I looked into it, I realised that it was something in terms of records and challenges that people set each other. So I looked around Sweden, where I live, for some challenges, and found a few FKTs that I thought I would like to run. The Motala FKT is 108 kilometres, about 800 metres of elevation, and seemed like a good route for me to try and go for. I started running at 7:30 in the morning from Mem, and it was a nice route along the canal, nice blue skies, but I, for some reason, decided to take it too quickly. I think it was the excitement, the nerves, and I was supposed to be doing 6 minutes to 6 minutes 30 on average per kilometre. I was starting doing about 5:15. I think I maybe averaged the first 32 kilometres in 5 minutes 30. I got to my first rest stop where Mark met me, who was my crew member, after just after 10 o'clock I think it was, and I felt good. Got some drank some water at the stop and filled up my tailwind solution. I set off thinking I was going to have another 32 kilometres to the next rest stop pretty well. And when I first started running, I realised after about a kilometre I'd forgotten my food from Mark, so I still had a few pancakes left from the first leg, but not enough to get me through the next 32 kilometres, and I took a little bit of a wrong turning at the beginning of that leg, so I was a bit despondent to start with, and there wasn't much elevation on the whole course, but the elevation did actually start around then, and it was just some running through some woods along a road, and the heat started hitting me. It wasn't too hot, but for me it was pretty hot, so 23 degrees I think it got to. I ran out of water, or ran out of liquids, which I was taking in tailwind solution about 50 odd kilometers in of the whole race, so I was about 10 kilometers away from Mark. So I remember texting him on WhatsApp and asking him to go to the local shop and buying whatever he can get his hands on, Pepsi, protein shakes, anything that's cold. So I struggled for the last 10 kilometers, or well, the last 10-15 kilometers of that route, of that leg. And when I got to Mark at 64 kilometers, which is a little way over halfway, I was supposed to have about a 15-minute rest stop. I ended up having a 75-minute rest stop, and you'll see from some of the photos that I didn't look too good. I actually contemplated on how I could actually carry on running. I was finding it really hard to run, let alone walk, and I just needed the rest. So I drank loads of fluid, got some, didn't get some sleep, but I got some good rest. Looked after my feet, and I split the last leg up. It was going to be a 40k leg, or 44k, and mentally I split it up into 2 legs. So I ran along the canal for 20 kilometers, which was quite a nice route. I managed to do 4k runs, 1k walk, and while I was walking I was eating the pancakes and having a drink, and I did that 4 times. So I got to the 20 kilometers, got to a local town, managed to buy some drinks and some ice cream. Unfortunately it was cans of Coke, and so I couldn't run while I was carrying cans of Coke, so I ended up walking a couple of kilometers quite quickly, and drinking those drinks and getting the ice cream. Gave me a little bit of energy, but not enough energy to really get me going. And by this time I was struggling in terms of just mentally. It wasn't getting dark, but you could tell it was starting to get to that dusk period. I found the next 10 kilometers quite difficult to get through, but I knew Mark was waiting for me at the end in Motala, and I wanted to get to Motala before it got dark. So for the very final 12 kilometers or so, I probably managed to run about 80% of that, and Mark met me about 4 or 5 kilometers away from the end, just on the outskirts of Motala, and helped me come through the little town there. So the previous record was just over 18 hours, set a couple of years ago. I managed to do the run in 13 hours 23 minutes, and I thoroughly enjoyed the run. I learned a lot of things about what goes wrong in an ultra. Lots of things, not lots, but some things went against me. The heat, not having enough liquid, not having enough calories. My shoes, I probably wore the wrong shoes with not enough cushioning, because a lot of it was on either the road or gravel. And yeah, it was good experience, good day. Love to see lots of people out on the route, and I really enjoyed getting into Motala at the end of that 108 kilometers, and look forward to my other FKTs.